you how I completely transformed my kitchen, renter-friendly style that is. I just moved into my new house and my new kitchen is the triple B. Brown, boring, and basic, okay? It is brown on top of brown, brown and beige, brown and brisk, and it's just, brown on beige, I don't know what that means, but it's just brown and boring, okay? I do not like it. The backsplash is not my style. It's very dated and it's just not personally something I like. I do not like the laminated dark wood cabinets. I do not like the brown countertops. I just don't vibe with this kitchen. Now, I do like warmer tones and beige, and that's something that, you know, that is in trend, but I'm going to show you how I completely elevate the space and it does not feel like a complete white box because I did not use white when I did this room. I did add molding. I changed the countertops. I personally loved the look of Ryan Serhant's kitchen. That's kind of something that I used for inspiration when it came to my cabinets. I wanted to have something that has the molding. I stared at his kitchen cabinets a little too long. There's only like 30 seconds of a glimpse of what his kitchen looks like. And I made sure to look at that multiple times to figure out like, how can I get something like that? That was my inspiration for the cabinets. I also love when I see countertops that lead to the backsplash. Instead of having a bunch of different tiles in the backsplash, I wanted something a bit more cohesive. So I did that also in my kitchen. And I'm also gonna be changing it for the floors, but that's gonna be in a completely separate video. But this video here took a lot of time and effort, so I'm just gonna get straight to it. And I am so happy with the way it turned out, especially seeing what my kitchen used to look like when I used to live in my apartment and now where I am now. So please go ahead and continue watching, lovelies. I do apologize now for anyone that's gonna be like, what color did you put on? I don't know. I made it up at this point. I made it up. I made it up last time, I made it up this time. To start off, we're going to prep the cabinets. That's taking the knobs off, that's gonna be wiping things down, and even removing some of the cabinet doors. So this is the first step. I just removed all of the knobs from the kitchen. I actually just have to move the ones on the island, that's it. But what I'm gonna do is put a Ziploc baggie just so I do not lose them. And then we'll label them. So the kitchen, you can put the address if you're gonna put them in like a tool box. Or like, so for me, normally I keep them with the rest of my tools and other knobs and things like that and have it in there. But if you don't have a specific section for it, then I'll put it up in a cabinet like this. We don't use this kitchen is for the vent mainly. There's like random things in there, so let's put it in there. Now once we have the door off, we're going to protect the door from the vinyl by using construction paper. Just to make sure I don't scratch the countertop. You're going to cut it to your desired length and make sure you leave some excess to flip over on the back side of your cabinet door. I did go a bit longer, we'll trim it afterwards. You want to work in small sections, and then once you have it ready, you're going to stick it to your cabinet door. I want to get the first row out. Make sure everything is lined up before you stick it down. You're going to use even pressure with your hand to make sure the line is staying where it needs to be. Then you're going to use your tool to then scrape it and make sure there's no air bubbles and everything is smooth and flat. I will have a detailed video up on my channel soon of how I did the cabinet. So if you have any questions, it most likely will be answered in that video. So make sure you subscribe so you can figure out all the tips and tricks that I did for it. This is just a quick rundown of how I adhered the vinyl to protect the cabinet. Once we're done that, we're going to smooth it out to the sides and get into the grooves and make sure everything is secure. This will help it stay. And then when we're done that, we're going to flip it over and we're going to fold it like it's a present. This here adds extra security and makes sure that it stays and helps it not lift or shift around. If you just keep it just on the front facing of the cabinet, it may cause a bit of problems down the line depending on the type that you get. Number one, I don't love it. Like, I like this side of it better than this side, but we will see how it looks once I put on the trim and put everything else on it. But this is what it's looking like so far. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm trying to look at the viewfinder to see if you can see the imperfections, but I can see the mark where the paper ends because the paper isn't long enough, and I don't want to have too many bumps and stuff in it. So I don't know how I feel about that. But I'm gonna put this door back on for now and then move on to the next door. I'm gonna finish the rest of these cabinets off of camera because it's just literally a tedious task. I'm just gonna take the doors all down and then bang it out at once. But I think because I still have sunlight, I want to do the countertops. I think I'm gonna do that. And also I'm going to do the countertops so I'm not giving away what the kitchen's gonna look like. Like obviously if you've seen the thumbnail, you'll see like the vision. But for the video, I want to look chaotic until the very end. And I think it's gonna look chaotic to the very end if I just leave it like, you know, half doors missing and some doors done, some doors not. And then giving it away too soon. So you have to stay tuned to see if this turns into my bougie luxury palace. I'm putting it in there. Woo! Going to put on this here. It's a shellac primer. Basically, if you're doing IKEA furniture or anything that's not like wood and you can't actually sand it, you want to make sure you have a good primer. So I'm going to be using this. It only takes 45 minutes to cure, but I think I'm going to let it sit for a bit longer to make sure it's really dry and works well. I'm going to probably open my backyard and my windows to make sure it's well ventilated. I'm not sure if I'm going to do one coat or two yet, but this is the primer that I'm going to be using because I see everyone raving about it. So I'm going to test it out for myself and see how well it works.
I think that I know somewhere that we could go to crash land, and we.
So the goal today is to get the countertops on as well as paint them and get the paneling put on. And then afterwards, if we have time, we probably won't because sun is setting, we will do up on top, add the faux cabinets. So it just kind of drags it all the way to the ceiling. These are very tall cabinets, but I feel like it looks short just because it cuts off with such a big gap. I like to elongate it and make it look finished. So that will probably be in, I'll probably do that tomorrow. So right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a tiny roller because it doesn't absorb as much paint, especially since right now I did make my own paint. They're in these cups right here. I had a whole fiasco trying to make my perfect paint color. You would have seen all my swatches on the wall and me trying to determine what color do I want to do. I've been swatching so many different paint colors on this cabinet and down here because originally I thought I wanted this color, but then Nate was like, no, it's too dark for the kitchen. I was like, you know what, for the space, yes. Then originally I wanted this color up here. I don't even think you guys can tell because there's so many other shades near it, but I wanted this color. And that's close to this color, which is winter white, but it's too yellowy warm. It's too warm. It's almost like the primer. Went to the paint store, got paints and colors swatched, and then they made, I don't even know what shade they made here, but they made a shade that was supposed to be this color, which is basically, hold on, I'm trying to see where my hand is. Like right here and here. It's like a warmish greeny gray. This color here is desert gray, which is basically close to the white color of the wall. So I was like, that's too close. But then that just shows like the difference in tone. They basically had to make so many different paint colors and they mixed the sample size one wasn't the right color when they finally made it the large size. So I put the counter, like I put the cabinet thing there to see the color, and this is the color on here, and it literally looks the exact same as the primer, which I do not want. Like you can't even, like you can barely see a difference between the primer and that. So then I decided to mix a bunch of colors and things together as I do to try to get the perfect color, and we landed somewhere around here, which this still is too gray. I feel like I'd like somewhere like here, a bit warmer, but I think I'm just gonna stick with this one and call it a day, and then paint again some other time because I cannot seem to get the color that I actually want. And that is super yellowy and like warmer, way warmer. So this here is the color where it looks super gray, but if I come here, it looks warm. So it's gray, but it still has a bit of the green and warmth in it. But if I look down here where it's by itself, it looks very gray. So it honestly depends on what light I'm looking at this color that looks different every corner. I even painted it on, I wrapped the vinyl itself, and that vinyl is very blue-white. And now it looks similar to the freaking primer, where it looks yellow. So I have this color really is, because there it looks yellow. There it looks blue. Here it looks gray. There it looks slightly like a grayish. I don't know. I don't know what color this kitchen is gonna be once I'm done. This turned out, it was just a lot. So the sample size that I got was the right color. For some reason they just couldn't remake it in the larger one. It was drying down lighter or more yellow or this and that. So now I have 2 big jars of paint that are not the right color. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can just do something at home. And I made my own paint. I just don't know how far this is actually gonna take me. So we're experimenting here. Tiny roller. And we're going to cover all the cabinets as best as we can. I'm going to do the countertops afterwards, just so if I have any drips, it's not going to land on my countertops and I can just clean it up normally and, you know, protect them that way.
Just text, I know it's a toss up, but I hate the fact that we lost touch. Ayy, the Uber pulling up on call. Tell me, is you trying to fall through? I'ma leave it up to you. What you wanna do? Look, I'm trying to spend this time with you. Know we overdue. What you doing right now?
I do apologize now for anyone that's gonna be like, what color did you put on? I don't know. I made it up at this point. I made it up. I made it up last time and I made it up this time. I feel like the paint stores just don't have the colors that I want and need. Can you even tell a difference? I promise it's different. Hold on. It's not as yellow as the primer, but I feel like you can't tell. Can you? No, you guys can't see a darn thing. Promise, it's not the same color as the primer. The primer is so much more yellow. Painting white on white. Perfect.
When we first began, no plans, all we had was the moment. Just text, I know it's a toss-up.
A bit more gray undertone, and then it makes this look super gray and stand out in the countertops. I feel like with the color that I made, I'm hoping once I install these, it's going to look more cohesive and together. Just waiting for that to dry, and then I'll do that coat and I'll get back to you guys when I am either installing the countertops or I'm installing, I have paint all over my hands, or I'm installing the trim. But basically I'm gonna be installing these on top of the doors to give them the look that I really want. I think this will actually pull it in together, because if you just paint them white and cover the style that was already on the door, then like it's just a plain shaker style door. I don't want that. I want to add some more detail. So I'm going to be adding these panels to the door, and I'm excited to see what it looks like, and hopefully my vision comes to light. I have to paint them still, but I'm hoping that what I'm thinking in my head will be executed. Fingers crossed. And then once I put the floors in, oh, I can't wait. Just seeing the color, well, not these colors, those are off, but seeing the colors over there and the base cabinets, I'm just like, okay, I'm seeing the vision. I'm hoping it's gonna work. We will see once everything's put together, but I am excited to see like what it's gonna be like. These are the panels I wish I made ahead of time, because originally I did them separately, and if I could tell you, make your panels ahead of time, it saves you so much trouble. Now, what I had to do is paint and prime them and to get them ready to adhere. Originally though, I numbered each one of them to know what pair go together and then stuck them on separately. I did also trial and error between hot glue gun, double-sided tape, and adhesive. Adhesive was the best one to use to stick them down, not the double-sided tape because it kept falling. But definitely check out the video that I have up to explain all this to you. Here I cut out a piece of wood to go on top of this cabinet. So it's going to be my coffee tea bar section, and now I'm going to move on to the top cabinets. Organized all the pieces of wood. I'm going to replace this one. So what I'm planning on doing is having this be the base. So it's going to connect to the cabinet, and then I'm going to take the edge of it and then staple it to that. Basically, I'm going to go like this and have that. So this part is going to be touching the base and it's going to hold it up, and then it's just going to help support it without me having to actually fasten it to the cabinets. Do they even have staples in it? Let's see. Very limited. So I also got my hammer, but basically I just stapled a few. It's having a hard time focusing. Stapled a few into on top. See what I mean? This one's up there. It's like that, but you won't have to worry about it falling. Now it's time for the finishing touches, and that's finishing up the countertop. And I do have a video that's going to come up full detail if you want to know how I did it. But I'm so excited to put these final touches on. I wanted to cover up the backsplash and some cutting over the outlet to make sure that we have access to it. And look at that. Then we're going to basically seal it, trim the rest, add the knobs, and add some finishing touches. I love how my tea and coffee station turned out. I think it's beautiful, I think it's practical, and it kind of keeps all this in this corner. Actually, I do have more tea than what you see up here. I am a tea fanatic. I drink like 6 cups of tea a day, and so all of my teas are actually hidden in baskets in this cupboard. I'm not going to show you yet because I do need to figure out a good organization system for it. And I also do have a bunch of my boyfriend's coffee beans and coffee grounds in these cute little jars. I really do love these jars because it's very aesthetic and stuff like that, and I do mark on the bottom what type of bean they are. The only reason why I'm hesitant about them is they don't have the best seal. Apparently, he told me. I'm not a coffee fanatic, so we are kind of debating as to what we're actually going to use. We might have to replace these out and change them for mason jars in the time being, just to make sure that everything stays sealed, airtight. I do love the aesthetic of these. If you guys know a good brand that has airtight ones or sealed ones, that would be great, that are aesthetically pleasing, because I've seen the plastic ones or whatever, and I don't really care for plastic. In the meantime, this looks great, but I think it's absolutely adorable. This is actually my French press that apparently is now his, because I don't drink coffee. I actually used it for my loose leaf teas. That's actually a hack you could do. It's you make ginger tea or you loose leaf tea and you like to make large quantities of it. I like to use my French press. I did put like a faux plant up there and a few other, I have an Irish cream and some noodles. You can't really see, ceilings are very tall here. Now, one thing I do love about my kitchen, my grandma's friend, I'm gonna ruin my plant. It's a faux plant, so it doesn't matter. My grandma's friend made me these dishes, and I think it's absolutely a stunner. I do have this faux plant in it for now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. It has this cute little plate and the bowl, and I was so surprised that she gave it to me. My grandma like surprised me with that. She's like, oh, so-and-so, I'm not gonna say her name, but so-and-so made this for you. But the detailing in the dish, I just think it's really gorgeous, and I'm actually super, like, that's such a kind thing for someone to do. And so right now it's just on display in my kitchen, but I feel like I might bring this into the living room and do something with it, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And for everyone that was getting at me regarding my cutlery being on my countertop, I had no choice in my apartment. I did not have drawers. So if you go back and look at the video, you would notice there were no drawers to put anything. But now I can put all of my forks and everything, my wooden spoons, my can opener, my oven mitts, everything has its place in this kitchen. So now I hope you're happy. I have a home just for that, just so you guys don't get mad at me. Give me a thumbs up for finally upgrading into having drawers. And the rest of the kitchen, I will say this is honestly a dream come true. If you've watched my apartment videos, I lived in my apartment for like 7 years, maybe even longer, and you know, saving. I loved the neighborhood, I loved everything. There were a few things honestly that started to happen throughout the years afterwards. That's why I really wanted to leave and I wanted to grow. But like, if you watch that very first video of me on the ground, I still have vision problems from when I got the paint thinner in my eye. Yep, that did cause me issues, and I will forever wear my protective gear. But I have always dreamed of a kitchen where I can have an island, I can have a pantry that's bright and light. And you guys, I know this is not part of the DIY, but my fridge is taller than me, okay? Like, I don't break my back every time I go in there. Normally, I'm going in my fridge and I'm like having to bend down and my freezer's on the bottom. Who would have thought that's a great idea? Who would have thought? Honestly, whoever made the freezer to go on top, I despise you. It's just little things about this kitchen, and there's not much for me to say. Like, I love how the backsplash turned out. and how it kind of followed along. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because it had the lip, and I thought it was going to look weird with having the lip here from the countertop. But personally for me, I don't mind it. Maybe you don't like it, but I don't mind it. I see so many kitchens, especially modern kitchens, where instead of having a backsplash with the tiles and stuff like that, it just kind of continues along. And I feel like that helps elevate the look and make it look so much more bougier, more grander. And I think that also makes it look like more realistic in a way. And that's the thing. I want my kitchen, when someone comes over, I don't want them to be like, ooh, is this like a thing kitchen or blah, blah, blah. Like, I want you to come in and be like, wow, this is a beautiful kitchen. That's end of story, end there, point blank period. It's a beautiful kitchen. And then I can go into the details of what I did to make it look this way. My own landlords came over and they've seen it and they're just like, wow, what did you do? They're like, you're such a great carpenter and holy smokes. And they're like touching it and they're like, that's an amazing job. And like, they were even surprised. They're like, wait, did you get a new countertop and stuff? And they're like, no, it's just depending on the product you use, obviously, that it's gonna look better and worse. Like there are some marbles that aren't that great, but I do love this marble countertop because it looks so realistic. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy. I hope you guys do love this kitchen and see the vision. I love that I took up the shelving to go all the way up there and made like the faux shelves. There's not much I can say. I'm excited to show you guys though the flooring. Once I put the floors in, that's gonna be a complete game changer. Sorry, I'm just super giddy because I've come so far. For you guys, you might not know how long it's been or how much work has gone into it because most of my videos are very backed up and backlogged and I am awful at editing just because things keep happening to me. I'm excited for every chapter that I'm going to have in this house. I'm excited to show you guys every DIY I did. If you haven't seen my bathroom, go check that out. That is unbelievable. Like my last bathroom, I had to make it just livable. Literally, my goal was just make it livable, make it bright and clean. My bathrooms here, I can play with color, I can play with texture, I can do what my heart desires. I'm not on fight or flight, you know? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna frolic around in my kitchen and, you know, eat an apple or something. I don't know. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Be ready to see all the other DIYs I did that you guys can also do too. Bye, lovelies.